Okay, ready, everybody. Good morning, everybody. We continue the Maimah. Today is Leil Lishmas, Zora Badina, Shav and Neshama, Shav and Aliyah.
Amen.
And it should be an ambassador of goodness and kindness to her family.
Amen.
Today is Yutas Kislev. I'm on page number 10. And the holding base. So, this is today's Yutas Kislev, the 19th day of Kislev, the day of the liberation of the Alter Rebbe. It's a day of celebration by Chassidim, by the world, of the learning of Chassidus and the ways of Chassidus. It's Rosh Hashanah Chassidus. It's New Year for the Chassidus, and we should all learn more Chassidus, more Chassidut, because it opens up our eyes to a whole new dimension of Yiddishkeit, of Torah, and mitzvahs. So the Alter Rebbe over here, and this is the Maimah of Fidik Rebbe, the Rebbe. This is the Maimah of the Rebbe, Lubavitch Rebbe, which goes into in preparation to Yud Shvat, Basir Lagani, the concept of where God says that the obligation of a Yid is to bring God back to His garden, that the place where the Ikar Shechina, the place where the Ikar, the whole purpose of why God made all the worlds, the upper worlds, were all created for the concept that God would come down to the lower worlds, which that's what the verse says. So what's the model? What is the prototype? The prototype is the pasuk in the Torah where there's a mitzvah, v'asir li migdash v'shachanti b'seicham. Make for me a migdash, make for me a holy place, v'shachanti b'seicham, I will dwell in it. B'seicham, it says, doesn't say in it, it says in them. Because God wants that through this prototype, through this Mishkan, we would be able to bring godliness within ourselves, each and every Jew within themselves. B'seicham, b'seich kol echad v'yechad. When you say that God, that each and every one of us needs to create a dwelling place for God within ourselves, so then each and every one of us is different. Right, we're not the same. Even though the Eibishter created the beauty in comparison. When you create a guy who makes coins creates a coin. Every coin is equal, right? Every coin is exact same. Actually, when you find a coin that's not the same, it's a very expensive coin, right? Because it's unique. So, but every coin is the same. God, He created every person different. Ain they same shaves, they ain't parts of shaves. Not only that they are not, they don't think that their face is the same. We all have different fingerprints, right? Imagine every person has a different. Every person in the world has a unique fingerprint. Imagine they're able to create every person. That every person is different. No two people are the same. And and why? Because each and every person has their own avodah. Well, one person cannot say, my avodah, oh, you're doing my avodah, you're already doing my service, you're accomplishing things for me. No. Ain't they saying Shabbos, ain't parts of Shabbos. We don't think the same, we're not made the same, and each and every b'seicham, b'seichal, echad v'yechad. The Eibusher says each and every one of us can bring godliness within us, each individually. And that's the beauty. So how do we do that? So that's why we have a general prototype. So there's each and everything but there's only one Beis Hamikdash. There's only one Mishkan. There's not 10 Mishkans. There's one Mishkan. And the Mishkan is going to give us a prototype, is going to give us an example, the way to do it to each and every one of us. So that's why we have both things. We have the concept of a Mishkan, and we pray for the Beis Hamikdash, that the Beis Hamikdash should be rebuilt, b'meheira b'yameinu, the Mashiach should come, and then we should rebuild the Beis Hamikdash, because we want to bring back this prototype, the Mishkan. We want to bring it back to a reality that we see it in the physical world, the way the Eibishter comes down into the world in a physical way, so that each and every one of us can do it. But even though we don't have a Mishkan right now, we don't have a Beis Hamikdash right now, but we have the Torah, and the Torah is the blueprint of the world. And the Torah gives us the blueprint of this Mishkan. So the Fidik Rebbe and the Rebbe goes in to the the building of this Mishkan in the desert. We're talking about the Mishkan, the tabernacle in the desert. So the Frierdiker Rebbe explains, we're holding on page 10, it's in the number 2, in the bottom of the page. The Frierdiker Rebbe explains the significance of the letters of the word Keresh. Because the Mishkan was made out of kroshim, beams, kroshim. And these beams were made out of acacia wood, covered by gold. That was the walls of the Mishkan. Were made out of kroshim. And the kroshim is plural, and a keresh is singular, keresh. So we know that in Hebrew, in Lashon Kodesh, is Lashon Kodesh. I don't know how you say beams in modern Hebrew. I don't think you say keresh. Oh yeah?
Korot. I like keresh better.
I don't know if they use kroshim. I think that's an old.
Korot is beam.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So in Hebrew, it's not a dead language. Keresh, and anything that is called something has within it a spiritual dimension. When it says Adam and Isha called the names of the animals, he called the names because he knew the makeup of the animal. So when he called a sherd is a cow. So a cow is there's no meaning to why a cow is a cow.
So it's not cow. Para is a cow.
Oh, sherd is a ox. I'm sorry.
Ox.
Okay, shredim. Cows, oxes. Okay, shredim.
No, it's shvarim.
All you ga'ans, chill out.
No, it's not shvarim.
Rabbeinu.
Shvarim.
Shvarim.
He's going to jump in the pool.
That's like a shvarim in the Bukiet. Bukiet shvarim.
Yeah.
So in the Chumash, I mean in the Yeshiva, it's called shredim. Shvarim and shredim.
Shvarim, Rabbi.
Rabbeinu, I'm telling you.
Okay, next. So you have a sherd or a para or a kelev or a keresh. Each and every word over here has a meaning. It's not the stam that we gave a name. We call it a sherd or we call it a kelev. No, the sherd, shin vav reish, is the makeup of the sherd, of the ox. The makeup of a para, of a cow, is pei reish hey. And that's the makeup, because you have to, if you would know the meaning of each and every letter and each and every ois. So the Eibishter created the world with the 22 oises of the alabase. The Eibishter created the world with the 22 oises. It's not the stam that these letters are nothing. These letters, each and every letter of the Torah has a deeper meaning in it. It has the energy force that gives the thing life. That's why it says even your name. That when your parent gave you your name, it was beruach hakodesh. It was in divine inspiration, in divine energy, God, so to say, came and told the person the name. Why? Because in your name is your DNA. What is the makeup of your soul? So my soul is my name, Shtei Zalman. And so to each and every one of us here. So the Rebbe is going to go, the Frierdiker Rebbe is going to go into the word Keresh. So the letter of Keresh, the letter of a Keresh is the letter Kuf, Reish, Shin. It has 3 letters. Kuf, Reish, Shin. You have it in front of you. You have to get those who don't know Hebrew. You have the Kuf, Reish, Shin. It's not only we'll forget about that in a second. Kuf, Reish, Shin, and the way it's made up of. You can see the Kuf and the Reish are almost similar, but that one has a long nun in the middle. Okay, but the Kuf and the Reish both have a Reish. And then you have the letter Shin. So the letters represent the overall concept of revelation. As is known in the phrase, Asa Boiker, let the morning come, Boiker. It also has the Kuf and the Reish. Can be interpreted as Asa, meaning the letter in Aramaic, results in the morning. Asa Bukiet, he created morning. He made morning, the relation of light. Asa Bukiet, the light is coming through. The light is coming, is being transformed. So you have the concept. This also implies that the letters which make up the name of something brings to the light the significance of that thing. So when you want to know what something is, you have to know its Hebrew word, its Hebrew letters. And then you'll be able to comprehend what is the meaning of the thing. So when you have the concept of a kedesh, you have to understand the meaning of the three letters, kuf, reish, shin. What is the meaning of the kuf, the reish, and the shin? So the Frierdiker Rebbe begins quoting the introduction to the Zohar. So we look in the Zohar and Kabbalah to these meanings, which explains how each one of the 22 letters of the alphabet came before Hashem, starting from the last letter Taf and continuing in reverse alphabetical order. It came the opposite way. The Zohar says it didn't come from Aleph, Beis, Gimel. It came from Taf to backwards. That's why we could have the concept of Atbash. It's a whole different concept. Atbash means that the Hebrew alphabet can be interchanged. Atbash, Aleph can be a Taf, Beis can be a Shin, and they flip one another in certain Kabbalistic ways. So asking the world to be created through it. The world was created through the 22 letters of the alphabet. Vayom Hashem Yehi Oid. The Eibishter created the world through words. Basara Maimaros Nivra Olam. The Eibishter created the world through a maimer, through a word. Why did God need to create the world through it? He could have created the world through machshava. He could have thought things, and the world would have happened. Why did God have to do it through words? Utter a word. Why do we have to say that? God thought and it came. Why did the Torah say Vayomer? That he had to say it. Because the Eibishter in essence wanted to create the world through 22 letters. Why? Because he wanted to give us something. In essence, by creating the world, through a dibur, through a letter, through a word, he gave us that capability. He gave us a Lashon Kodesh. That's why it's called Lashon Kodesh. He gave us letters. He gave us a power. That now we can create the world also through dibur. That's why dibur is important. Tefillah needs to be done through dibur. You can't just think b'machshava what you're going to daven. You have to say the words. You have to even hear the words, right? You have to listen to your voice. You have to hear the words. So because it needs to be done through the concept of dibur, the aspect of saying something. And you're saying words. That's why even though you can read English, really, you can say it in English, but your English is not the Hebrew, is not the Lashon Kodesh. It doesn't have the same power. So you need to daven in Hebrew, in English, if you don't know what's going on, because it has to be Minalev, and if you don't know what's going on. But really, you should say the words, because the words are the letters Lashon Kodesh. I always say, you say in Tilim, at the end of Tilim, when we say Tilim, this Shabbos Mevarchim, we say the whole Tilim. Remind everybody. That's the station identification. So, what? This Shabbat. This Shabbat, next Shabbos is Rosh Chodesh. So, this Shabbos Mevarchim. So we say the whole Tilim. If to every book, the Tilim is divided into days and into books, and into days of the month. But the Tilim is divided into days of the week, into days of the month, and into the 5 books of the Torah, into five different books. So we divide it into 5 books on Shabbos Mevarchim, and at the end of each book, we say behind in the Tilim, we say a statement that this book should be. We're saying it for Bereshis, for the book of Bereshis, and so too we say, and we say, may the words that we say, right? We're saying a bunch of words. Tilim is very difficult to comprehend. It's Midas Yisrael. It's the words of David HaMelech who said these words. So we say that when we say these words, it should be as if David HaMelech said it, right? And because David HaMelech, when he said it, he had in mind all the Isaac Nation. David HaMelech just didn't put words together. He was like he was a poet, who just decided to make a nice song that a lot of us don't understand what it means. These words and what's the meaning of the flow of these words.
We also said the beginning of the letter, the word, the end of the letter of the word. All those letters.
100%. They're all Eis Hashem Havayis. So when you look in that statement, it says that David HaMelech. Right, David HaMelech had the composition of God's name in every of these words. The Ramban, the Machabari says the whole Torah is a composition of God's name. It has within it a hidden concept of the Eibishter's name in every single pasuk and every single word. But you have to know. We don't know. We don't see a word. We don't see the godliness in the word. We just see it as a word. And we think that's a simple word. That's why we call Lashon HaKodesh. We call it a holy log. It's not a stam word. It's a Lashon HaKodesh. It's a holy word. So the first letter in this word of Kadesh is the letter Shin. So the letter that came time for the letter Shin came before God and said that the Gebishter should collate the world with the letter Shin, which is the letter of truth, the letter which is a letter of truth. There are three branches represent Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why you have on your tefillin the letter Shin.
Really?
Right?
Yeah?
Yeah. Why do you have a letter Shin on your tefillin? On both sides of your tefillin, you had letter Shin.
With 4, 1, 3.
The beginning of the
Matriarch.
starts with Shin.
But that's not why you have it in your tefillin. That's not why you have it on your tefillin.
I thought it was
But why did Shaddai, Bekel Shaddai? Because Shin it has within it Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Well, Shmi Havai, the Abish says to Avraham, to Moshe Rabbeinu, one side is 3, one side is 4. The Abish says to Avraham, to Moshe Rabbeinu, I reveal myself to the patriarch with the name Shakai, Shin Dalad Yud. Because in that word, in that Shin, you have the concept of Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov.
Why the other side is 4?
Yeah, has many
Why the other
meanings.
side is 4?
What?
Why the other side is
So the Imois.
Imahot?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Hashem told them that even though it would be fitting to use for creating the world on its own, it could not remain the letter. So God says to the letter Shin, Yitaka, a wonderful letter. But the problem is that you're part of another word. Yitaka, a part of the word Kadesh, which is a name, but you're also part of the word Sheker. And I cannot create the world with Sheker. I cannot create the world with falsity. Because it partners with the Kufr Reish, it creates the word Sheker. So the Abish said that just like the word has a Kadesh, the word has a Sheker. So I don't want to create the world with Sheker. I want to create the world with Emes. And the letter Emes is Aleph, Mem, Saf. The first, middle, and last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The word Emes. So that's why Emes, something that's truth, needs to go through everything. If it's true, it stays true from the beginning to the end. If it's Sheker, it will change. Right? So something that's true starts off the way and ends off the same way.
It has the beginning of the alphabet.
And it has a middle alphabet and the end. That's what it says. The signature of God is Emes. Here's the kind of Emes. The Eibush is Emes. Shem Emes. V'teirasa Emes. Moshe Emes. V'teirasa Emes. The Eibush is Emes. The Torah is Emes. Moshe Rabbeinu is Emes. They all have the Midah Shel Emes. Yaakov Avinu is Midah Shel Emes. Right? Because he has Midah Shel Emes. Avraham Avinu has Yishmael. Yitzchak Avinu has an Esav. And Yaakov Avinu has Mitas Shlema, he has all his kids are tzaddikim. And that's Emes. Doesn't change.
But this is not the last letter. Shaker? Reish is not the last letter.
In
No,
the
Tuf is
alphabet-
last
in the
letter.
alphabet they're together.
Tuf is the last letter. Tuf, Aleph. Actually, your name of the Eibush is in the word Shin, Shakai. And it's Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov. Shin is a wonderful name, but a wonderful letter. But in essence, I cannot create the world with you, because then the world will have a sheker, will have an untruth. Furthermore, the Zohar points that a lie is enabled supported by some truth. You cannot have. The Gemara says sheker ein lo raglayim. Sheker doesn't have legs. Why? Because the kuf and the reish ein lo raglayim. There are no legs to it. Emes, if you take the word emes, it has, every letter has two legs. The aleph has two legs. The mem has two legs. The saf has two legs. So it has two legs to stand on. Sheker ein lo raglayim. Sheker does not have any legs. Why? Because ultimately sheker will fall. So how does sheker survive? So that's why every sheker has to have a little emes. The only way sheker survives is if you put a little emes to it. It has to have a little ingredient of emes. Now it has a little ingredient of emes, it's going to stay for a longer time. But if you take away the emes from it, eliminate the emes, the sheker will fall. Because sheker ain't like a guy. Sheker is a sheker. Cannot survive forever. But we always put a little emes. We put a little ingredient. We give a little glayim to it. We give a little of things to it. And now it continues to go. So furthermore, the Zohar points out and enables by support of truth, as the word sheker starts with the letter of truth. And that builds the lie upon it. So from the perspective, the letter shin is even worse than the letter. So the shin has a little bit because it has a base. That's the problem. So the shin has a little bit of truth. So that's why the shin comes, not the kuf and the reish come before God, but the shin comes. It says, build the world on me. Even though I'm going to have a lot of sheker, but the chavab is lemes. I have a little lemes. I have a little truth. Right? So that's where the shin comes for God. And God says, no, even though you have a base, so you have something to stand on, but you have the kuf and the reish. And the kuf and the reish is going to bring a lot of negativity.
Kufresh, kara.
Okay, good. Respect, right? So then the kuf and then the shin is even worse, because the shin is trying to, so to say, fool ourselves, right? So we know we're sheker, but we put a little emes, and now we fool ourselves that we can be sheker. We can lie because we have a little emes. And that so comes out that this emes that we have is worse than the sheker, because the sheker would not survive. So we put a little emes, so this was worse. So that's why the Eibush says to the shin, in essence, in a way, maybe worse than the kuf and the reish, because you have a little emes. They say like the chazer. The chazer, why we pick on the chazer? Because it has a little bit of emes, right? It puts out its feet, right? The chazer fisilach. You say, you put out the chazer, put it on it. Why the chazer is kosher? He's putting out his feet. He's showing he's kosher. My feet are split, right? What do you want? I'm kosher. You cannot see if I chew my cud. My feet. Look at my feet, right? So the chazer is worse than all the other regular non-kosher. What do you want? He doesn't have split hose. Doesn't chew his cud. What do you want? The chazer puts out his feet. Says, "Look, I'm kosher. I'm kosher. I'm holy, right? What are you pushing me aside? I'm like the cow. Why? Because he puts out his feet. It's a bissel emes. It is emes. The guy has split hooves. What do you do now? We gotta go check it out. Maybe he chooses cut also. Maybe. No, yeah, sheker. Not a kosher animal. That's why it became like it'd be called a chazer. It was like the curse word, the Jewish curse word.
Give me it all.
Right? You're a chazer. Right? Because don't show your holiness when you're not so holy. Don't show your feet. Don't show it. You're still a chazer. You're still the pig. Right? You're still the pig that you are. So that's a sheker. That's why the shin. David says the shin is worse than the kuf and the reish. This concept is those reflect in the statement of the Gemara. A lie will not stand on its own. Just like all the letters in the word sheker are unbalanced and do not have two stable feet. So the only thing that has some stability is the shin, a little stability. The kuf and the reish have no stability. They're on a point. They're going to fall down for sure. They're impossible for them to stand. They're falling down. Right? Oh yeah? Yeah, we should say, the Rebbe says. So even though the letters of the alphabet themselves are holy, the letter kuf and reish, so really what's the trouble over here is the kuf and reish. Even though the shin is worse, but the problem is the kuf and the reish. Enables the existence of klip in the world. The kuf and reish, these two letters create a concept of negativity in the world. In Kabbalah, these two letters, reish and kuf.
It's rik, empty.
Very good, very good. We'll soon see. It never goes into the letter itself. The Zohar goes into the letter itself. The reish and the kuf.
What you're telling us here from the Zohar, that the value of the wood went up since they're building the Beit HaMikdash with it. There's so much.
We'll soon see. Very good, very good.
There's so much gold,
Right,
silver.
right.
When you're taking the cheapest stuff and you want to build the holy temple,
Yeah.
why?
Why not?
Because you have to change the sheker. You have to make this a kedush. You have to go from a sheker to a kedush. You have to change the kedush. You have to change the word. That's right. That's the whole avodah.
You're not telling me change the sheker to emet. You're telling me change the sheker to keresh.
Right, because that's a step. That's a step. You cannot change it. You cannot. That's a skafia and a hapcha. We're talking skafia. The skafia means I'm not changing the I'm not totally changing the thing itself. I'm doing a skafia. I'm changing it to a keresh. And then the next step, actually the kroshim, you couldn't
It's
see.
mitzupim.
You couldn't mitzupim.
They gotta be
They
mitzupim.
will be covered. You didn't see any keresh.
Yeah, but
When you saw the gold. You saw the kesef.
base is the wood.
Nichsev achar hakol so nafshi, the kesef. You saw the Kiloy to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Even though the inside was a keresh. So you didn't see the keresh. You didn't see the wood.
But the base is the keresh.
No, but you didn't see it.
You gotta be mitzupeh.
But you didn't see it.
No, you don't see it.
You don't see it. You don't see it.
You don't see it.
You don't. You don't see it. Covered. Mitzupa is covered. Covered with gold. You didn't see any of the base of meat. The Mishka was all made out of wood.
The wood is
Covered in gold.
It's covered
It's all
with
covered
silver,
gold.
gold.
Covered gold, mainly gold.
It's funny, but
So,
it's stronger than keresh. Why would they build the holy temple with that? That's what.
oh, that's the point. We'll soon see. So did I explain it? It's coming. It's coming. Don't rush.
I'm waiting.
They can only receive their light through the yeah. So the question is, how does sheker have existence? Sheker in laglayim, sheker klippa the force of evil are not true. How does it have existence? So it has existence from kedusha. It must have existence for kedusha. It has existence for holiness, not free will. It has existence for holiness. And when we do things we do holy things, for example, in an unholy way, we give chayes to klippos.
So we are the ones.
We are the ones who are giving klippos chayes. Klippa would not have sheker, would not. That's the letter shin. We give, which letter shin is is a holy name. But when we do things, shalei b'derech hakdusha, a kedusha, we do something that's holy, not in a holy way. We're in a way giving koyach laklipot. We're giving sheker a little bit of emes. Why? Because we're doing the emes with a sheker. Right? We're doing the emes. We're doing the emes, doing the mitzvah, the emes, kedusha, but we're doing with a sheker. So now we're giving sheker a little bit of koyach. We're giving, because if not, because sheker wouldn't have if not, unholiness, which is sheker, which we're going to give the name of sheker. So emes is holy, unholy is sheker in this concept. We're giving unholiness a chayas. We're giving it a life force. We're giving it a life force. If we would not give unholiness a life force, it would not exist. There would not exist. Because how can it exist? It only exists because we give it.
that when you do holy
So that's what
things in a non-holy
Right, we're giving, we're doing holy things on an unholy way. We're giving unholiness a little bit of existence.
You meant well.
And more existence, and more existence, and more existence, and etc., etc. That's why a person should do things b'derech hakdusha. When he does a kedusha thing, he should do kedusha. He should do it in purity, be'emes, in the aspect of truth, and not in a concept of a little bit. But that is a struggle, because we do even the emes with not such emes, not such truth. We're afraid for the truth. We're afraid to express our truth for whatever reason. We're afraid to express it. So the Rebbe, therefore, in order to enable the existence of Klippa, the letter Kuf and Reish partner with the Shin, the letter of truth. So in this sheker, the Shin is the truth, even though it's not really the truth. But in the concept of this sheker, we give it a little emes, which is the letter Shin. So that's actually that's why even though the Shmi Hashem Leina died to Lehem, that the Eibush did not. So you look at Ashi, b'midas amita shali. The Eibush says that I taka revealed myself to the Avos, but I never revealed myself with my real emes, Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the midas. This is midas emes shali, and now I reveal to you the midas emes shali, and that is an intellectual concept. That's why Avraham and Yitzchak Yaakov represent the emotions of Yiddishkeit. Moshe Rabbeinu represents the intellectual concept of Yiddishkeit, the aspect of the truth of Yiddishkeit, the emes of Yiddishkeit. That's a Moshe emes. Yaakov Avinu also represents Midas Shel emes in a way, because the concept of the truth is more intellectual concept. It's understand Ladas Hashem, to know the Eibishter. Not to only be, but the Mayach Shalta Lev, the intellect should rule over the heart. So after the letter Shin was rejected from being the main letter in creation, which would have therefore given strength to the Kuf and the Reish, they took the Shin between them. So now we have that's what you have: Tov, Shin, Kuf, Reish, Kuf. They're going together. Kuf, Reish, Shin. Now they wanted, so Sheker wanted to change itself, and that's why Sheker changed itself to the Keresh. So he did, the Keresh ultimately, Kuf Reish Shin, ultimately had a very important part in Yiddishkeit, which is the Kroshim, which they built the Beis HaMikdash.
And Kesher is actually the connection between the two.
Very good.
So you change it into
Very good, very good, very good. You see, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful
So the
thing.
transformation becomes something holy.
So that's what you have. Kesher, it says.
You read before, Rabbi.
And they took the Shemitah and they called it Kesher, a not connection, the clip of the world. They did that. This is a very powerful concept. To be able to take 3 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and see how many yonim it has. You just see the yonim. It's a sheker, it's keresh, it's kesher. It has and there's much more. So you have these. That's why you see. That's why it's called a living words, right? Because you take one word. You don't take the word cow and you start playing. You don't start playing. It's a dead word. But you take a word sheker. And you see that lav dafke in the sheker there's a kesher, and in the sheker there's a keresh, and there's deeper meanings, and it continues to grow and change and interchange. If you have the capability of doing that, that's what it says, that letters are like a building. The Zohar says letters are like a stone, and you put the letters together, you start building a building. And that's davening. You're building a building. You're taking a lot of letters and a lot of words, and you're creating a home. You're creating a building. Because that's what the Hebrew alphabet is. That's what Lashon Kodesh is. You're creating, not just saying words, dead words. Every word has very extremely deep meanings in it. And every word can, that's why in the Torah doesn't have any vowels. It even goes even further. The Torah has no vowels. So now you can, each and every word even if without mixing and you have Kri and Ksiv, and everything can be written, is said one way and written another way, and we can read 3 different ways, etc., etc. I have many different meanings. So what is the meaning? So explained above. So the Frierdiker Rebbe then explains the significance of using the Kedesh. So why would the Eibishter, why would God build the Mishkan with these 3 words? Here the Zohar says these are terrible letters. Seemingly the Eibishter goes and takes the sheker and he builds the Mishkan with it. The majority of the Mishkan was built with wood. Might have been covered, but still the inside, even in the Ored, there was inside wood. But these krashim, the main was the krashim, the beams, these beams. So I explained above, the letter Reish and Kuf and Shin enabled the existence of Klippa in the world. The Eibishter wanted that. So therefore, by using them in the Mishkan, or in their equivalent within a person's own service Hashem, as will be explained later in the Maimed, these letters of Klippa are transformed into a Kedesh of Kedusha. So that's the whole Avodah. The Avodah is to take the sheker, is to take the sheker of the world and to bring it in, to transform it to a Kedesh, to transform it into a building, to transform it into a building of the Eibishter, to make for us a li migdash v'shachanti b'seicham. B'teicham. So the Rebbe goes and says, the Frierdiker Rebbe then continues to explain how we see that the letter Kuf and Reish is Zemt's Klippa. We see that the letter Kuf and Reish is Zemt's Klippa by comparing them to their corresponding similar letters in Kedusha. So just like you have the letter Kuf, letter Reish in Klippa, we have the letter Dalid, which is almost as similar as the letter Reish. What's the difference? The letter Reish is round on the right side. The letter Dalid goes out. And what's the Kuf? What's the difference in Kuf? What's the opposite of a Kuf in Kiddush, in the Hebrew alphabet? Is the letter Hey. Kuf and Hey. The letter Kuf, the line goes down. The letter Hey, the line is shorter. So you have the Reish and the Dalid, and the Kuf, the Reish and the Reish and the Dalid, and the Reish, the Kuf and the Hey. The Kuf and the Hey. So you have both of those, Aleph, the Dalid, as I explained, first you have the Dalid in God's name, the Hey surely in God's name, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, Adnai is also in the Dalid in God's name, which is similar to the Reish Dalid, and the Hey, which is similar to the Reish, to the letter Kuf. We are holding the Rebbe just knocked through 5 chapters of the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimer. The Rebbe just ran through 5 chapters. He now goes in, start next week, the 6th and 7th chapter of the Frierdiker Rebbe Maimer, the previous Rebbe's Maimer, which focuses on the letter Dalid and the letter Reish. The opposite between the Dalid and the Reish. And we shall continue.